I think that's not being fair to the analysis.
What about the issue of Medicaid expansion in Ohio? The state is doing it. The governor has said so. Many people in his party not in favor of that. You'd be the leader of what is now still the biggest county in Ohio, a very powerful seat. What would you do about that issue?
Well, of course, one of the biggest beneficiaries of that is Metro General Hospital and those funds going through. And so at this point in time, I think that we need to make sure that those funds are properly administered. They do have a sunset to them. They're going to sunset down to 90% in a few years, and there's no guarantee as to what's going to happen to fill the gap after that point in time. So I think that as the county executive, and with the support to Metro that we do, we provide another $5 million just recently and $35 million. We need to make sure that those funds are being effectively used. The governor has decided, and it has been put forth in a legal format, so those funds are going to flow to us, and it's our job to make sure we use them effectively.
Did you agree with his decision?
I did not agree with the decision per se, but like a lot of decisions, I don't agree with all the decisions that come out, but it's my job to implement it and carry it forward if I was the county executive in regards to that.
I'm curious to know what your thoughts were on that. If you weren't for the state's expansion of Medicaid, what's behind that thinking?
I was concerned about the federal government sometimes starts programs, and they start you on a path, and they put funds into your pocket, only to find out that the funds erode, and you are still having the responsibility to fill that gap at a later time because you've now extended the benefits, and the benefits are not covered by the fact that there's no longer funds to support that. So that was my concern, is the longevity of the commitment from the current administration in Washington versus what would happen down the road.
You would have, as I mentioned, a pretty important job as a county executive, and one that has some stature in the state. Not just on this issue, but on others. How would you envision using that position in Columbus to influence policy?
I think the way you use that position is you go to Columbus and say, this is the most populated county. This is the most important county as far as driving dollars and taxes down there. We should have our voice on every one of these issues, whether or not it's something of what we're talking about here. It's how we develop economic development. And again, that is a role that I would be very comfortable playing because I think that that's part of the selling of why we need to have the film credit for things like the Winter Soldier and Captain America that opened last night.
Which you saw.
I did see that, yes.
This is the one guy in the room that's seen the Winter Soldier already.
Sorry about that.
We can
it's
all
a great
see it
movie.
Friday.
Buy a ticket on Friday when it comes out public. That's right. But it's a fantastic movie. But it would not have taken place without Ivan Schwartz going out and going down to Columbus and saying, we want to be an advocate for the Cleveland Film Commission. We want to tell you why it's important. And by the way, I love the segue because it's the second M of where we're going. I believe that there's medical, manufacturing, and media. And this is exactly, when I say media, the films, the arts, the theater, our museums, all of that is that structure that we need to go down to Columbus and make sure they know we are a dynamic county and we're leading this area out there for that third M of media, because not only does Winter Soldier get shown here and we had 900 new employees that were never employed but for that movie, there was all of the hospitality, all the food service, all the vehicles that transported people, all those things that came into that whole envelope. And as we're talking about now, it will be to go down to Columbus and say, we've had these successes, and next week there's going to be game day is going to be launched. We've had these successes with this part, or draft day, game day, that's right. You can tell there's never a football player. I was a wrestler. So you have these successes out there, and we need to go down and tell them we need the permanent infrastructure to support that, and we need to be part of this, a total package, and be selling this. And Cuyahoga County is in the best position to sell that, I really think.
We talked about the wrestling earlier. I'm a wrestler too, but I'm a little out of your weight class now.
We'll shoot takedowns at the break too.
He still took the challenge. You mentioned the three M's: manufacturing, media, and I'm assuming the third, I want to make sure we get all three. I'm assuming it's not McIntyre.
It could have been, but it was going to be
The
medical.
third
That's
M
right.
is medical. Okay, so manufacturing, which you have covered as running a manufacturing company. The medical you've talked. I just want to make sure you got a chance to talk about those three M's.
Okay, well, I think that if you look at our three drivers in here, and no deference to the law firms that are here because their support, the accounting support, the financial support, but we need to have the big drivers of the community, and certainly we know that between Cleveland Clinic and UH, those are the two largest employers, but the single largest employment community is still manufacturing. People sometimes think that it's dead. I can tell you that we just opened a brand new office in China on last weekend. When I was there in Shanghai on Sunday, and the manufacturing community is not only alive and well, it's going off the charts. And our office there is strictly to sell what we ship to them every Friday from Cleveland. The media community is one in which sometimes you look out and you see the young people in the audience here, and you know we need to have that spark, that excitement, that thrill for why you want to be in Cuyahoga County. And one of the studies that I looked at the other day was young people pick where they're going to live before they have a job. Now, my generation, yeah, have a job, and you went to the job, but having a son that we're trying to get back from Charlotte, I know that that's in fact the case. But the media means that we have all that money that came through on Winter Soldier, all the money that came through on this, but you also look at the Cleveland Institute of Art. I just saw the numbers as far as the drivers of jobs and the economic development that drives. The orchestra, world famous, but these hotels we're building, great areas for hospitality. Our culinary school over at Tri-C, they envision that they're going to be up there at the school of Johnson and Wales, the food schools out in California, and someday they're going to be up that same level. So these are all the secondary jobs that come through from that third media, and it's a place that the young people get excited about. They get excited about the digitalization. They know that it's part of there's no reason for the kids to graduate from Cleveland Institute of Art and go out to California to do gaming. There's no reason for them to leave here and be doing their digitizing, and that's what Ivan Schwartz is talking about. Let's build that next level. We've had success at this level, now let's build the infrastructure.
You've been listening to a conversation with Jack Schron. He's a candidate for county executive, the Republican. I think you're going to win the Republican nomination, are you not?
I was going to go on the road, go on the limit and say, I think I've got the Republican nomination.
As he is the only candidate at this moment, and there will be a general election as well. Next week, I wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping and let you know that next week there's a discussion with the Democratic candidates as well, right here at the City Club. We welcome all of you here and those joining us via our live webcast, which is supported by the University of Akron. This Friday, April 4th, the City Club welcomes David Kerp, professor, author of Improbable Scholars, The Rebirth of a Great American School System and a Strategy for America's Schools. For more information about upcoming and past programs, visit cityclub.org. You can find out information about next week's program as well. And we do welcome guests today at tables hosted by Friends of Jack Schron, by Juergens, Patrick McLaughlin, and the Republican Party of Cuyahoga County. Thank you all for your support. Today's program is sponsored by the Northeast Ohio Media Group, the City Club's official sponsor of politics and policy programming. The City Club thanks you for your support. And